expert, and I mean,
maybe just wrong experts.
Wrong. The other half of Gove's quote was that we've had enough of experts who get things wrong all the time.
OK, fair enough. I still believe in experts. I still believe that there are people who have a very clear understanding of what's going on in our economy. But I actually also agree, that this isn't only about the economy. It is also about how do we reunite our deeply divided country. And
so it's more than
my
forecasts.
View, it's about a political compromise that gets the balance between sovereignty and prosperity right. We know that uncertainty and instability will always have a negative knock-on impact because business hates uncertainty, and we've got to protect the automotive sector, for example, which needs those just-in-time supply chains, and that has to be on the basis of a customs union and a single market.
And as if by magic, the Chief Secretary to the Treasury.
Good morning,
Ms.
Andrew.
Truss, good morning to you. Welcome back. I think it was only a week ago we had you.
It was. I just can't get enough.
Too much of a good thing. You can have here. So the Chancellor says if we leave on the May deal, it will hit the economy, but perhaps not by as much as other terms in which we were to leave. I can never remember being in a position where the government is saying our policy will make things worse than they are at the moment, but maybe not as bad as they could be if we did other things. That's unprecedented.
The Chancellor is clear that the economy will grow under all circumstances. What we're talking about here is specific modelling about trade. So clearly, the more trade we have, the better a trade deal we get with the EU and with other countries around the world, that will contribute more to GDP. But the key point here is this is all about differentials between different scenarios. It's an economic analysis. It is not a forecast. We deliberately have learnt the lessons of the past where, projecting things 15 years hence is a monk's game because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know which governments are going to be in power. We don't know what decisions will be taken about tax and spend. So this is about what will the impact on trade be on the economy? But there are a lot of unknowns.
I understand that. So when the Treasury says the GDP could be about 40 billion lower than it otherwise would be in 15 years' time, what bit of that's not a forecast am I not understanding?
Because we don't know what GDP will be in 15 years' time.
So why bother at all then?
Know. Well, because Parliament asked us to provide the best possible analysis of the implications for trade. But trade is only one part of the economy. There are many other policies that affect the economy, whether it's planning policies, tax policies, what the United States president decides to do, all of those things. So I think we've got to be careful not to overstate how important this is relative to all of the other economic decisions that get made by governments.
So why bother, I would think?
Well, because Parliament asked them to. But also, I think it is the point the Chancellor made this morning, and Stephen has also made, that it's all very well talking about the economic impact of this, but ultimately it's bigger than that. And it's about making sure that the result of the referendum is reflected, but also that the country, which is incredibly divided, tries to move forward and try and deal with...
Which is more than economic forecasts.
Which is much more than that.
Does the city take these... I mean, the city's own forecasts are quite regularly wrong. I mean, when I look at city consensus forecasts, they're usually not any better than the OBR or the Treasury. Does it take these forecasts seriously at all?
No. The idea that you can point to within 1% of future GDP that you don't know what it's even going to be, in 15 years down the line, you may as well try and predict the weather for a particular week 15 years down the line. City... if you look at the likes of the Bank of England, for example, and Andy Haldane, the chief economist, and he's done his sort of mea culpa on forecasting, and I think would agree with the Chief Secretary that it's a mug's game. And the other forecast that the city was most associated with, if you look at the likes of the former Chief Executive of the London Stock Exchange, she said by now about 250,000 jobs would have left the city as a result of the Leave vote. Current analysis suggests that the number of jobs that have actually been relocated, let alone just new jobs created elsewhere, is between about 750 and 5,000. And actually, there's some more data out tomorrow, which will show a pretty significant spike in the number of professional service roles created in the city in the last 12 months. So, all in all, whether it's jobs or growth, forecasts in the city are treated with the scepticism they deserve.
So, take that, forecasts. Now, as usual, during Prime Minister's Questions, which is coming up in about 5 minutes,